What is up, ladies and gentlemen? As we're jamming on a Friday here, welcome to the Buccaneers podcast. Happy Good Friday to all of those partaking. Happy Easter this upcoming Sunday as well. Very good holiday to spend with your family and loved ones. But nonetheless, it's a Friday special of the Buccaneers. We got Stunna and myself, Tampa Tones here. Mike and a couple other of the crew, but if not, it is what it is. We're with you here for about a half hour or so as we're covering the draft. We're covering the latest and greatest with the Bucs as they sign a safety and they announce Baker Mayfield's jersey number and so much other good stuff. But without further ado, we'll get into all that in a little bit. We're going to bring in our right-hand man, Stunna. Stunna, how the heck are you, brother? Happy Good Friday, sir. Happy Easter to you and yours.
Happy Easter, my Buccaneer brother. Everything's great. We're looking forward to the draft. We're looking forward to another awesome season of Buccaneer football.
Yes, sir, we are, and we're both fans of the moves we've been making. We've made some good ones, some cheap ones, some moves that might have been more familiar with Brady as we've gotten some really good veterans on one-year deals on cheapies, so we're going to talk about that, Baker Mayfield's jersey number, and so much more here on the Buccaneers this Friday. Like I said, we're going to be with you guys until 4 Eastern. So stick with us. We're going to roll our old intro. Last episode with this intro, I re-downloaded the video package. We got something special. Well, an outro and intro coming for you guys, starting with our next show within the next week or two. So last episode of this intro, we've loved it. We've liked it, but time for bigger and better here on the Buccaneers. Stick with us on this Good Friday. Stunna and Tampa Tones taking you to the top of the hour here on the Buccaneers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in under a minute and 20 seconds live. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Beat Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Buccaneers. Stunna and Tampa Tones. And Stunna, we're going to get right into it after I say people can keep up with us. You can keep up with me on Twitter today at Tampa Tones, on Instagram at Tampa Tones with 2 S's. Keep up with the pod on Instagram at Buccaneers Podcast, on YouTube at Buccaneers Podcast, on Apple, Spotify, so much more at Buccaneers Podcast. On Twitter, it's just Buccaneers, and then on Facebook, it's Bucs Life Media, and you can catch our content on there. Stunna, where can the good people follow you at on Twitter, my friend?
At Tampa1_ on Twitter. Bucs.
Let's get to it now. And speaking of Twitter, speaking of opinions, I want to get your opinion on this. We signed some safeties late. Well, we signed some players lately, I should say. They've all, in my opinion, been good, cheapy, one-year deals. The most specific and most recent one I'm referring to is the new safety of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ryan Neal. PFF had him ranked as high as the 4th best safety last year. JC Allen posted a chart where he was number 1 in a couple of areas, so good to see there. We got Jeremy tuned in on YouTube. My man Jeremy, love this guy. What up, Jeremy? How you doing, brother? Great wrestling fan. great Bucs fan, and so much more. So glad we can get Jeremy in here on a Good Friday. Happy Easter and Good Friday to you and yours if you celebrate, Jeremy. And then Don, my mom is tuned in as well. So cool to see. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook as well there, Don. But Stunna, I want to get your opinion. Ryan Neal, the Seahawks choose to let him go. They brought in another safety, gave him a little more money. Bucs got this guy for pretty much a vet minimum. What are your thoughts on him as he really tore it up last season? And he came into his own the past couple of seasons in Seattle, it seemed.
I think he could definitely make at least a number 3 safety, and that's where his price range is. And we're going to have to add another safety in the draft no matter what. So it's definitely good to have, a guy that can step in there and be your number 2 safety, just in case the rookie doesn't pan out. So, we definitely needed some of the holes that we're filling. We got this guy. We got the defensive tackle from the Rams. Not great names, but just placement fillers because we don't have any depth. I mean, we're going to have to draft a lot of guys and hope they pan out. And rookies can't always cut it in the NFL, so that's why you need those veteran players.
So a couple of nice tidbits on new Bucs safety Ryan Neal, which I agree with you, and everything you pretty much said right there, Stunna, spot on. The Buccaneers Twitter account tweeted a video this morning and said Ryan Neal earned PFF's highest grade in coverage for a safety last year, 85.7. This is a guy we got for only $1 million. You have safeties out there getting $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, $6 million. Can they back it up with their stats? Can they back it up with their numbers? Probably not. Here's a guy who's come into his own. He's always been a fringe roster guy until the past several years. Takes a vet minimum for the opportunity to start on the team. That's his words exactly. The highest rated coverage safety in the league last year, according to PFF, took a pay cut to come to our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That should make not only the front office feel good, but us fans as well, Stunna. This is like a Tom Brady type of signing in terms of, hey, I'll take a pay cut to come play with Tom Brady. But instead of taking a pay cut to come play with Tom Brady, he took a pay cut to get the opportunity to play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to play for head coach Todd Bowles, and to stay in the Florida area. Pretty cool of a pup like Ryan Neal, if I must say.
Yeah, and I'm sure the taxes are a lot cheaper here than Seattle as well. And not even to mention that, but he's a free agent. He could have went anywhere. He chose us, and it might mean that Todd Bowles has a lot of respect in NFL circles, and I hope that he can turn around, right the ship. And maybe it was really the offense wearing our defense out last year. Time will tell.
And you're not wrong on that either. I've seen a couple people mention the state tax thing as well. Think about it like this. If he would have gotten perhaps a little closer to 2 mil or around 2 million from Seattle, as Nick joins us. Hey, Nick, thank you so much for joining us. Sending a little smiley face. I hope your Friday is going fantastic. But again, Ryan Neal could have probably gotten 1.8 million, 1.92 mil elsewhere. But he chose to come to Tampa. He's familiar with the area. It is cheaper money. Great to see there. The Twitter account, Philly Nation, who is an Eagles fan, they pleaded to get Ryan Neal. They posted some statistics. He just turned 27, still very young. He had 25 run stops last year as a safety. Who does that remind you of a little bit? A little bit of a guy who comes up in the box and lays a leather down. Bucs had a couple of those safeties in the past, few prominent ones like John Lynch and Jordan Whitehead and those types. He was PFF's number 1 safety in the league last year, not just in pass coverage, but number 1 safety in the league. He allowed just 57 yards in pass coverage the final 8 games of the season. You take 57, you divide it by 8. That's saying he's pretty much let up 7.12 passing yards per game the past 8 games of the season. What that's saying is you could throw Carlton Davis on one end. You could throw Jamel Dean because we got him back on the other end. You could blanket Winfield on a big tight end or something. Oh, and then, by the way, you have Ryan Neal, who only let up 7.1 pass yards a game the last 8 games of the season last year. So, Stunna, all of a sudden, a lot of fans got nervous. Are we going to lose Dean? Are we going to lose Edwards? Are we going to lose SMB, Keanu Neal, blah, blah, blah. We've lost most of those guys, but we brought back the most important one, which was Jamel Dean. And then we brought in Ryan Neal, who is an amazing safety, who's young, very cheap as well. So to me, our defense has a chance to get better this season than it was last season, even with the loss of a couple guys.
Yeah, I mean, our defense was doing pretty good last season before Shaq Barrett's injury. It's really going to come down to the pass rush. Nix was hurt most of the year. We just really didn't get what we needed to out of our front. And then our secondary, you could argue that Mike Edwards kind of disappeared on us. So Jamil Dean was the priority in the offseason. And then I also wanted to bring back Levante David and Anthony Nelson. And we got all three of them back. So you're absolutely correct. We brought back the guys that were performing well on defense last year. We got rid of the ones that were kind of sloughing off, and then we got some fresh new faces that we don't, unlimited potential we don't know. And then plus we also have the draft to bring in some more players on defense to really solidify it.
Yeah, so some of those other names we brought back or brought in as well on defense. We got Greg Gaines, the former Washington College player who was teammates with Vita Vea, Kate Otten, so familiar there. He'll be lefty end starter as of now. We brought back Pat O'Connor, the Chicago native, the special teamer who's really stepped up in his time in Tampa, been a Buck for a very long time now. We brought back Deadrian Sanat, good tackle depth, nose tackle depth. In my opinion, he played very good in limited snaps last year. He's very familiar with the division as he was a Falcon before. I like that bring back a lot in Deadrian Sanat. We brought back Cam Gill, who was out for the season last year. He's on the veteran minimum as well, so that's edge depth. He could help rush the passer, no doubt about that. We brought back Anthony Nelson, who it seemed like Anthony Nelson played every damn snap last year after the Shaq Barrett injury, after the Cam Gill injury, when Carl Nassib was down. It seemed like Nelson and JTS literally never left the field last year. Then obviously we talked about it, brought back Jamel Dean, boom. D. Delaney we kept around, which was great to see there. Ryan Neal as well, brought back Nolan Turner there as well. So Stunna, I think we did amazing defensively in this offseason, either bringing back pieces or adding pieces. And oh, by the way, there's been rumors that we still might bring back a Will Golston, or we still might bring back an Akeem Hicks to help shore up that line depth. And by the way, we still have the NFL draft with a lot of draft picks on our plate too.
I really like the moves, and I can confirm that Anthony Nelson and Joe Troutstraker were the only defensive ends dressed for those last couple of games. We literally had nobody else warming up with them. I would love to bring back Will Golston, but we are we going to try to get a better pass rush out of the defensive tackle position? He's a great run stuffer, but maybe we're not. Maybe we're looking to have more of a pass rush from up the middle now. I don't know what the philosophy is, but I know that we want to have 5 good defensive tackles, 4 good defensive ends dressed every week, and that's what we're really trying to get to. We lost Nacho, who has a pretty good pass rusher from the interior D tackle. So I love Will Golston has been an awesome Buck. I would love for him to come back, but he did give us 10 years. So if he decides to move on back to Detroit or something, I get it. But I would love to see Will Golston go back. But I definitely want to see, like we always said, the Bucs are known for defense. The 70s Bucs are known for defense. The 2090s Bucs were known for defense. And we've kind of been known for offense lately. We like to have a return to what we're known for.
And I agree with you. And we got a defensive head coach now as well. And we have 2 defensive coordinators, a run game coordinator and a pass game coordinator, which is a little bit of a rarity amongst NFL teams. I'm pretty sure less than 5 franchises use a co-defensive coordinator pattern. So that shows up that we're beefing up defensively when Bowles got here, because he implemented that last season. So we're trying to become a defensive sound team. I think you're right on that. And, obviously after you lose a guy like Tom Brady and a couple other cogs, Shaq Mason offensively, you look at it as this. You turn the corner to the defense, and you kind of have them be your cornerstone. And with names like Carlton Davis, Antoine Winfield Jr., Ryan Neal, Jamel Dean, Shaq Barrett, Anthony Nelson, Levante David, Devin White, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Logan Hall, Vita Vea, Greg Gaines, Patrick O'Connor, possibly Hicks or Golston. The potential's there. And I'd love to I like Hicks. I'd rather have Golston back. He's been a Buck forever. He loves the Tampa area. The charity work he does is phenomenal. The off the field stuff he does is phenomenal. He's a great family man. If I could wave down the Bucs right now, smack him around.
Also, most likely cheaper.
Cheaper as well, correct. I'd say at least $500K cheaper, if not $1 million or $2 million cheaper. So that's a great point as well. And Hicks might be looking for a 2-year deal and then retire after that, where you can probably get Golston on a 1-year deal. So I think there's a lot of benefits at choosing a Golston over a Hicks. But either way, I'd be really happy if we bring back either, because both are familiar depth and both have had a good amount of success in their NFL career, especially with stuff in that line, which the Bucs need right now. And you guys are tuned into the Buccaneers Live. We're off-season coverage here. We're dipping into the draft, dipping into free agency, talking about the coaches a little bit. And Stunna, let me ask you this. Special teams-wise, we had Ryan Suckup for the past 3 seasons. Before that, we drafted a couple kickers, Roberto Aguayo, Matt Gay. Now Matt Gay is the highest paid kicker in NFL history. Indianapolis gave him that contract. A lot of people are making fun of the deal. I don't think so. I think that was a good deal. I think Indy's in a dome, so he's going to kick better in a dome. And Indy's a team that needs to get 3 points on the board a lot, and that's something they haven't been able to consistently rely on until Chase McLaughlin got there. But they viewed Matt Gay as an upgrade. What happens? Ex-Buck kicker to Indianapolis, ex-Indianapolis kicker comes to Tampa, Chase McLaughlin. We get him on a very cheap contract. He has a very good leg, very deep leg. He can make plenty of kicks over 50, 55 yards, which is why Ryan Suckup's not here anymore, because he couldn't make anything over not anything. He couldn't make a lot of kicks over 45 yards. Let's put it like that. So, Stunna, let me ask you this. We have Chase McLaughlin. We have Jake Veretti. Who wins this kicking competition, and is it even a competition? We have 2 ex-Colts kickers seemingly kicking it out on a spot to win the Tampa job, or do you think there's maybe a third that's not on the team yet, aka a UDFA or 6th or 7th round draft pick?
Yeah, I think we definitely got to add to the competition. I think we definitely dropped the ball on Matt Gay. Reminds me of Steve Christie in the 90s when he went to Buffalo and took them to the Super Bowl, and we just let him go. It's like a Ray Perkins move. But let's face it, Suckup was more accurate. Suckup got his points. We needed those points in the playoffs to win the Super Bowl. And, there's nothing wrong with Suckup. He just was getting paid too much for what he gave to the team because we weren't getting in scoring position as often. So really had nothing to do with him. We just had to devalue the kicking position because we're going to have to try to limit our opponent's scoring rather than trying to score ourselves with the way the current roster is put together. So, I think they're going to add another leg there. I am very happy with our punting team, though. I love our rookie punter from last year. I thought he was the best draft pick we had in that draft. And special teams, if you're a Bucs fan, it's never been a feast and always been a famine. So whatever we can get, I'll take. I just want to see the consistency Suckup brought to the position under 45 yards.
I agree with you there. Also tuned in now is Louis Montavo, coworker of mine, great guy. Thanks for joining Buccaneers on Facebook with us. And Sean says on Facebook he did his job, and field position last year wasn't great. And then he also says we need a kick returner so bad. We'll get into the returner in a minute. On the kicker on here,
never had a great returner in the history.
Correct. Spurlock was adequate, but I wouldn't call him great. And Clifton Smith had, one good season, and then he kind of shied up after Carolina jacked him up. But the kicker, Chase McLaughlin, really good guy at U of I, went into the league, bounced around a little bit. He started 2019 in Indianapolis, went to the Chargers, went to San Fran, 2020 Jacksonville and the Jets, 2021 Cleveland, 2022 Indianapolis, and now he's with Tampa. So a lot of teams like him. A lot of teams want him. It just seems like he hasn't found his permanent home yet. He's kind of been a fill-in kicker or whatnot. So I'm just saying I do like although I love Ryan Suckup, don't get me wrong, but I think this is an upgrade, at least for now, because it sucks when you can't rely on a guy kicking over a 45-yarder. It's nice when you could at least trot a guy out for, let's say, a 60, 61-yarder. Obviously, no guarantee, but you feel like you have a chance. That wasn't even an option with Ryan Suckup, right? So the 3 points right there would be eliminated with Suckup. And then for Jake Veretti, it seems like he's just a camp body, in my opinion, just a competition body for now until we do. I do think we bring in a UDFA and then Jake Veretti is let go. But that's the current kicking competition battle with two former Indianapolis Colt kickers, now to Tampa Bay Buccaneers kickers. We'll see who wins that one. I think it's McLaughlin. Sounds like Stunna does as well. Now, talking about...
Here's some Colts trivia for you.
Let's go.
All right, you ready? In 1990, we played the Colts to determine if they were going to get the number 2 and number 1 pick or number 1 and number 2 pick because we traded our first round pick that year for Steve Christie.
There we go. I love it. And obviously, we all know what happened is they ended up taking Peyton Manning, and then Ryan Leaf ended up becoming the bust of that draft. So,
no, they took Steve Etman and
that was a year after, right? Because that was '98 draft.
Yep. No, this is way before 98. It was 1991. Or it might have been 92. You're right. I think it was 92. It was 91 season that we played them. We traded our first round draft pick for Steve Christie.
I'm saying the Manning. Yours is earlier, 91 or 92. I'm saying the Manning one was 98, I want to say.
Yeah, that's what happened because Steve Etman, his career was so short. But he had a great rookie year, which you never know what he would have done with us. But, Ray Perkins.
Ray Perkins is a guy that, well, I mean, you ask a lot of Bucs fans about him, and he's not going to warrant a lot of nice words or good results there. We got another Facebook joiner, B-Hank, Brian Hancock, joining us on Facebook this afternoon. We appreciate him joining us on the Buccaneers Live. Stunna, let's dig into kick returner just briefly because I do want to get to the draft and Baker Mayfield's new jersey number before we trot out of here in about 12 minutes. Tompkins, I don't think Devin Tompkins is going to be a returner next year. Where do you think we go for that? Do you think maybe Rachaad White becomes a returner? Do you think it's someone in-house right now who really hasn't gotten their chance yet? Or do you think it's a potential rookie returner that we elect to go with, whether it might be a UDFA or a drafted guy?
I'd love to see us draft a corner that could return punts. But, it's going to have to come to the draft. Or somebody, those June free agents, where people have to cut the people off their current rosters to make the June deadline. It'll be someone from that era or the draft.
Let me ask you this now. Baker Mayfield announced today, just a couple hours ago, they got to sell jerseys. The Bucs want to, especially before the draft. Not saying they're going to draft the quarterback, but we're going to talk about the rumored quarterback they were projected to trade up to get here in a little bit. So just in case they draft the quarterback and they got another one on the market to sell jerseys, I think they hurried up Baker Mayfield with his jersey decision, said, hey, let's get your number, buddy. We need to make some money off Mayfield stuff. They mocked it up. He's number 6. Baker Mayfield is going to be number 6 with the Buccaneers after you've seen him. I think he was number 17 with the Rams last year or something like that. So what do you think of Mayfield returning to number 6 here in Tampa? I think personally he looks a lot better in 6 than he did with the Rams.
I love it. I hope he does the Heisman Trophy celebration with that number 6 on.
And we have another quarterback number change. Jeremy saying, I want Trask to get 11 back. Jeremy, don't do that to me. I have a Trask number 2 jersey, buddy. I can't let it get ruined like that. But no, I mean, Gabbert was 11. So maybe, now that Gabbert's gone, Trask might get 11 back. But he also might stick with 2. I know there's a lot of merchandising agreements where if you change numbers, then you got to buy every jersey on the shelf or something like that. So Kyle Trask, Yeah, Jeremy, I got the Trask jersey when he got drafted, actually. Even though we still had Brady in his prime, I was like, I'm going to get this Trask jersey. I'm not even a Florida Gator fan. I just ride with Bucs quarterbacks. I thought he was going to be the quarterback of the future since we used his second round pick on him. So I bought that Trask jersey the Friday night that we drafted him, actually. So my Twitter pick is actually me in that jersey next to Shelton Corals. Very much so. I hope that he stays at 2. But if he does move to 11, I mean, I still have a Trask jersey, so it's not the end of the world. But that's happened to me a couple times in the NBA. Patrick Williams with the Bucs, Chris Godwin. So hopefully none of that. But I like the number 6 as well on Mayfield. Stunner. I think it
I'd
looks.
love to see Chris Godwin go back to 12.
I wouldn't mind that as well. I kind of got used to him in 14, but number 12 might be hard to replace after Brady, I feel like. You don't think so?
No, I think Brady makes the Ring of Honor, but I don't see us retiring number 12.
Yeah, I could see that greatly as well. Now, let me ask you this, Stunna. We got about 7-8 minutes left here on the Buccaneers. Oh, Jeremy agrees with you. He says Godwin back to 12. There we go. Let's make that a poll tonight, Stunna. We'll make it 3 options. What number do you want to see Chris Godwin in now that Tom Brady's gone? We'll list 14, we'll list 12, and then we'll list an other option just in case someone, what if someone envisions him in the number 0, now that new Titans corner, and ex-Buck Sean Murphy Bunting, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot
Let's
of people.
make sure we tag him in that poll so he knows what the people think.
We'll tag Chris Godwin in that poll as well. Very good thought there, Stunna. Let's talk about the draft. We got rumored, and I think it was Todd McShay from the Motherlode, the 4-letter network, ESPN. I mean, they're not that great nowadays, losing a lot of coverage, losing a lot of viewership, losing a lot of their good experts, I feel like. But nonetheless, they brought on Todd McShay, and he has the Bucs trading our 19th overall, our 3rd round pick, a 5th round pick, and a 6th round pick. He has us trading 4 draft picks to move up 4 or 5 spots to take Will Levis to compete with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield in a make it break it year for Todd Bowles. To me, this reeks of stink and stunk and a nothing burger, and I think the Bucs have a 0.000% repeating chance of drafting a quarterback in round 1, round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You never know. If the opportunity presents itself for a Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round or, in the 2nd round and they fall in love with him, I still want to approve of that. I still want to appreciate it. But as long as you don't have to trade draft assets and draft capital for it, that's one thing. But to me, the Buccaneers would be making a major mistake if they unloaded 3 to 4 draft picks to move up a handful of spots and to draft Will Levis. And I don't think Will Levis will even be there. So I think that point is muted in the mock draft as well. I think he's surely a top 12 pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, I like the move because Will Levis is a hell of a talent. But no, I think when we were doing good was when we, whatever our biggest free agent leaving or guy we didn't re-sign leaving or someone we had to cut leaving, we replaced with that 1st round pick. Example, Quan Alexander left. We replaced it with Devin White. So I think we need to get a left tackle with our 1st round draft pick this year. Now, if they think that maybe there's a talent load of left tackles, we can get one in the 2nd, so be it. But I'm not convinced that they're going to move Tristan Wirfs to the left side, or you would have heard rumblings of that already. And so I think they got to get left tackle with our 1st round pick. I like Will Levis. I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL, but I definitely don't see him falling anywhere near us. So I think we need to just focus on left tackle, and if we can trade down and still get a top left tackle and add depth to the rest of our defense and offensive line and tight end position, I think I would love to see them do that. But right now, my focus is on left tackle.
My 1st round no's for me personally. I don't want them to sniff any of these positions in round 1. Running back, no thank you. Quarterback, no thank you. Tight end, no thank you in round 1. Wide receiver, no thank you. Anything else I could make the argument for. Really,
Off-ball linebacker, no thank you.
Oh, linebacker, you're right on that, because inside linebacker, no thank you, of course, there. So, good point there. But to me, Stunna, edge, interior line, as Jeremy points out, Levis is not a need. I agree. Sean says absolutely. So he agrees. And now Sean's bringing up Robinson. Sean, the reason why I say no on Robinson, he might be a good talent or whatever, but of all years to draft a running back round one, this is not the year to do it for the Bucs nor Todd Bowles. We have a young rookie contract running back, Rashad White, who still has 3 years left on his contract for very cheap value. No need to allocate first round money and asset there. Then they brought in Edmonds, and then they still have Keyshawn Vaughn, and then they still have Pat Laird as depth. Now, what I would like is if the Bucs take a running back later in the draft, because it is a running back heavy draft. You've seen him bring in the former kid from UCF, Bauer. He was there getting a workout, so they have been working out some local running backs, and I do think that they like a running back, and it's just a matter of when, not if, they take a running back. I don't think it comes in round one. I agree with Jeremy and Stunna. I hope they go trenches. I hope they go defensive trenches, though, round one. I could see O-line coming, or I hope a tackle. I hope offensive tackle or defensive trenches round one, and then whatever else happens. I wouldn't mind a lineman or a big guy in the middle, because Stunna, as we know,
The 4 positions that I would look at is safety, tackle, D tackle, D end, and I want to add corner. So those are the 5 positions I would look at with that first pick. Whoever's the best available at one of those 5.
the reason why I wouldn't really like a cornerback personally is because we have heavy not saying in the draft, I'm saying we have heavy investments in Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis and Stunna. Neither of them were first round picks. I think we do a good job of drafting deep cornerbacks outside the first round.
I agree, but that slot corner, Rondé Barber, that's an important position in the defense. So we got to address it. But you're right. We don't need to do it in the first round. But safety is a glaring need. We only have 2, I think, right now. Interior D tackle is a glaring need. Edge is we got 3 good ones, so that's really a glaring.
And I would love it. I would love it.
And then offensive tackle or offensive guard is also a glaring need.
Really, as long as we don't take we went over it, but as long as we don't take a running back or couple other positions I named in round one, I'm pretty good with it. I never like a running back in round one because their shelf life is so short too. By the time 2-3 years.
Yeah, the days of drafted Cadillac Williams with the fifth overall pick are over.
Correct. So he had 3 ACL surgeries. Stunna, let's see this. One big thing or walk off. We got about a minute left here on the Buccaneers. It's been really fun. A little over half hour. I think we're gonna move now that draft is coming up. Schedule release is coming up. We're gonna try and move to weekly again instead of bi-weekly. The boring part of the off season is over. We're heating up a little bit. Stunna, what's your one big thing and walk off for Buccaneers Nation as we step out of here on Good Friday on this fine, beautiful Easter weekend?
Well, we got to mirror the OTA season. You know how that goes. One big thing is, this is a great, it used to be a great time to be a Bucs fan, but it might be, it's still great to be a Bucs fan no matter what. We're one Buc Nation. We got to stay together. We have to believe in our team, and we have to get behind our new players being added. Always support our draft picks, always. Because they're coming into a strange situation. They don't know the city. They don't know how our fan base is. So we always have to support our draft picks. The walk off is that the draft is like the Super Bowl for Bucs fans. This is the one time we can always win is the draft day, and we always get at least a first round draft pick. So let's enjoy this draft. Let's be excited, and jubilant like it is the Super Bowl for us, and let's definitely encourage these the new draftees coming into our facility and let's welcome them with open arms. Go Bucs!
I agree with you, Stunna. Always support our draft picks. That's why last year I bought my Pops and myself Logan Hall t-shirts. I kept screwing up the size and stuff, but nonetheless, bought us Logan Hall t-shirts because I wanted to support him. Year before that, I got a Trask jersey right away. Support the rookie. My brother got me a Vea jersey. So we love supporting our young guys. We love supporting our rookies, making him feel comfortable. Sean joins in at the end saying, Happy Easter, guys. Go Bucs. Sean, we love you. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Happy Easter to you, my man. Go Bucs to you as well. For anyone watching, Jeremy, Sean, any other of the gang out there watching, B. Hank, Louis Montavo, anyone, I'm about to hop on Braves Country HG, WQEE in Noonan, Georgia, 99.1 FM. If you are in Atlanta, you get me on the radio, 99.1 FM, every 4 o'clock Eastern on Monday and Friday, so I'm about to hop on there. If you're not in Noonan, Georgia, or the Atlanta area, you can find it by looking up Braves Country HD on YouTube, on Twitter, or any of the good stuff, and find us over there. Again, I'm going to be hopping on Braves Country as soon as I'm out of here. I'll be there until the top of the next hour. We're going to be talking a lot of fun sports as well. Sean and Jeremy and the rest of the crew, if I don't see you guys over there, hope you all have a safe Good Friday, a beautiful Easter, and a blessed Easter. Stunna, I hope you do as well, brother. Next time we talk will probably be a little later today on the phone, but on the podcast, I'll see you next week, my friend.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Represent the Buccaneer Nation and fire the cannons.
Fire the cannons, and as always, go Bucs. Thanks everyone for joining. Stunna, enjoy your day. I'll talk to you in a bit, sir. Fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs. Let's go. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lee Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera